Today I'm adding the worktop to my outdoor kitchen. A few weeks ago I decided to build an outdoor kitchen. This has always been my dream. And in the previous video I built the brick walls. It was a massive challenge, but the final result was great. Today I will be adding the top. The plan is simple, I just need to make a few holes. Look, first of all, I'm going to cut this to size so it comes exactly up to here, because in this space we're going to have the barbecue. And then I'm going to make a very big hole for the sink that's gonna go right here. I'm also going to cut a few pieces for here and here to make it look nice and wonderful. And after that I'm going to mix some cement, bolt it all together, and hopefully it looks nice and pretty. On this side I'm gonna leave it hanging about 5 centimeters, and then on this side about 1. So overall we should be at 126. I'm adding the markings on a masking tape so it's nice and visible, and then I'm using masking tape to mark the area for the sink. We're bringing in a couple of pallets so I can use them to cut. Alright, let's prepare the angle grinder so we can start cutting. For this I'm using a diamond disc because the top is porcelain. Now I'm cutting the main piece to size. I'm setting the remaining of the main piece aside so I can use it for the smaller pieces. And now I'm cutting the hole for the sink. I had to flip it over because my disc is not deep enough, so I had to cut it on both sides. After charging the battery a few times, finally I managed to cut the piece for the sink. As you can see, it's nice and square. And now I've asked my wife to give me a hand so we can move it back in place and I can actually check if the sink fits. And here I am trying to check if the sink fits in that hole. I even tried hammering it in place, but actually that didn't work. Right, I made a mistake. So when I made the markings for the sink, I did them right around the sink and I forgot to leave space for the top. You can see right here. So the top is supposed to be here. I think this is for soap and stuff like that. But I made the markings up to here. I didn't leave more space for this and this. So I'll show you. I made some more markings now, just to make this cut a little bit bigger. And that's what I'm gonna do now. Here I am, cutting the hole a little bit bigger, and actually I had to widen it as well. It wasn't just the top, because it wouldn't fit that way either. And finally, after a couple of hours, the sink is in. Perfect, look. Yeah, very nice. Okay, so now I need to measure the pieces that's gonna go this here and here. I've got that big piece left over from this guy, so this is gonna be the same width. I'm not going to cut that to width, but on that side we've got about 5 cm overhang here, and there's another cm inside, so we need about 16 cm in width for this piece. So I'm gonna make the cut. Alright, so I've cut the piece on this side, but then my angle grinder ran out of battery for the 12th time. I'm gonna let it charge properly, and in the meantime I'm going to assemble the sink. Step 1, add the overflow pipe, and then add the drain at the bottom. I've discovered more parts, so I need to redo this bit, put this in place, which is gonna take 1 second. Right, there we go. So This is where the water is gonna be training from. And if you wonder where is the water gonna be going, it's gonna be going in a bucket. Yeah, this is not gonna be some sort of high-tech integration. This is barely gonna be used. A bucket is gonna do the job just perfectly fine. Just a couple more pieces to cut. All the pieces are cut. Look, this one's ready, all cut here. The hole for the sink is also right there. I've cut this one, just a little one that goes in there. Yeah, with my angle grinder I can't really do a fantastic job in making this very, very smooth, but it's fine. We're going for a rustic, outdoorsy look, so I think it's gonna be absolutely fine. What I'm gonna do next is mix some cement and some slurry primer, and then I'm going to put this in forever. All right, I have 3 buckets. One has water, the other 2 are empty. So one of them I'm gonna mix some ready-made cement. I don't need much, just a little bit. And then slurry primer, because that wood is going to bond the mortar with the porcelain top. So let's do it.
Here I am adding the mortar on top of the brick. We only need a thin bed for our top, but I need to make sure that the mortar goes inside the holes of the brick. I'm adding just a little slurry primer on top. You only need a couple of millimeters. My wife and I are now adding the top in place, and I'm using my level to make sure it's nice and even. And then I'm adding all the pieces.
So I think I'm done with the top. Look, it's all in. I've cleaned it up really well as well, so the brick is nice and clean. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is install the sink in the hole we made earlier, and then the tap, and then we should be done with this video. I had siliconing, whatever it's called. It's just gonna go all over the place, including my head, but you've got to do what you've got to do.
I'm adding silicone around the hole to create a bit of a bed for the sink to sit on top, and once the sink is in, I'm using loads of wipes to make it nice and clean.
So here's the top. It's a nice black top. It's supposed to go right here, I hope. So the idea is that I'm gonna somehow connect this on the hose. On demand, of course. So the idea is that I just connect and disconnect every time once. So I'm gonna have to have a think about it, because I'm not entirely sure how I'm gonna end up from this to this somehow. Be right back. Okay, I think I have a solution. I'm gonna show you. So look, oh my god, it's very hard to film right in here. Let me check, why am I showing you guys? So there's this bolt right here. Hopefully you guys can see. Right, so you are supposed to, let me just show you. 1 second. There we go. You're supposed to bolt this on it, and then obviously on the other side you're gonna connect it to your main water. Obviously I've got hoses and stuff you've got in your garden. I have an idea, and the idea is that, look, this is supposed to work with that, right? This little bit, it used to be on my water tap right there before I put the new one in. So this one fits perfectly in that. So I'm thinking I'm going to put it in that way, and I'm going to use this bolt to bolt it on, because I haven't got another bolt which is sort of similar size. and this one is deep as well. I haven't got anything like that. In order to do that, I've got to cut it though, and if I cut it, then I can't use this anymore. So what do? I think I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens. I've managed to cut it. There's the bolt. Wow, that was strong. It took me like half an hour to get that done. So, where's my little thing? Right. Here's what I'm trying to do. Let me show you. Oh no, look. Look, it doesn't go through. I thought it was gonna go through. Oh well. Here's where I got to today. Look, the top is in, the sink is in, the tap is in. A little bit of a problem with the tap. I'll show you here. The hole in the sink was a little bit bigger than the tap, so I put a little bit of silicone right there, so the water doesn't go through. But what I haven't managed to do is to connect this tap to any water. You saw me earlier, I tried doing something clever. It wasn't clever at the end because it didn't work. So I'm gonna try something else. The stores are closed today. I'm gonna go to the store tomorrow and try something else. Morning. I found the solution. The stores are open, so I got myself this little fella. So there's an insert in here which is like half an inch, which is what this thing over here is. So what I'm gonna do, and I hope you're gonna be able to see that, I'm just gonna pop this right here. Nice and strong. And now I should be able to use just a normal garden hose. Nice and easy. Oh, before I show you the final result of what I have achieved in this video, let me do a quick cost breakdown for you of the things I've used in this video. So first of all, we've got the big worktop, which was the biggest expense of this, and it is 180 centimeters by 80 centimeters, and as you have seen, I had to cut it in several pieces in order to actually make it go on top of all the bits I wanted covered, and that was 200 pounds. The other big expense was the sink, which is about 70 pounds. So I wanted a nice black stainless steel sink, so it fits and sort of integrates nicely with the top. And then the tap, that was 22 pounds. And then there's the ready-made cement that I used, which was about 12 pounds. I didn't want to bother with mixing my own cement. It was going to cost pretty much the same thing, and it was going to be a mess, so I just did it a quick way. And I've also used a little bit of slurry primer. This is the bag that I already had from when I built the walls, so it wasn't an extra expense. So yeah, I think those are the big ones. So let me show you what I've done in this video. The first job was to take this worktop, cut all the pieces, and use some mortar and some slurry primer to put them in. So it's all in now. It's very, very sturdy. I checked this morning, nothing is gonna go anywhere, so that's great. The look is nice and rustic, but really that's just to say that I couldn't really cut everything very straight and it looks a bit awkward, but I think it's quite nice. The other job I've done is install the sink right here. So I've used some black silicone to put that in, and yeah, that looks pretty nice now. I've managed to clean it pretty well. And then you've seen me connect the water. So the idea is that every time we want to use that sink, we're just going to disconnect this hose, put this in, and that should work. So let's give it a go. Right, that should be open. So there you go, nice and clean water. Nothing is dripping underneath. The water is going out this way. So for clean water, obviously it's fine, but for like dirty water, when we wash dishes here or something, we'll just use some sort of a bucket. In the next video, I'm going to finish this project by adding the doors and the shelf for the barbecue, so stay tuned for that. But thank you so much for watching today. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Take care.